Hello my fellow readers. In this video I'm going to be talking about Unnamed Memory Volume 1. Volume 1 only. Now this series is complete, I think at 6 volumes, and I'm pretty sure it's complete. I did do my research. I just purchased Volume 6, but I have not read the rest of the series. However, that should be a good sign, the fact that I just said I own them all. Because, yeah, this is another successful light novel that I very much enjoyed. So I should give the full title, which is Unnamed Memory, The Witch of the Azure Moon and the Cursed Prince. This is by Kuji Furumiya, and the illustration is by Chibi. It has a lovely illustration. I actually think that's one of the pluses in this, is the illustrations are really, really nice. From the back, my wish as champion is for you to descend the tower and be my wife. Climbing a deadly tower, Oscar seeks the power of its master, the Witch of the Azure Moon. He hopes to... sorry, there's something blocking it. He hopes her incredible magic can break a curse that will kill any woman he takes for a wife. When the prince sees how beautiful Tinashe is, though, he has a better idea. Since she's surely strong enough to survive his curse, she should just marry him instead. Tinashe isn't keen on the idea, but agrees to live with Oscar in the royal castle for a year while researching the spell placed on the prince. The witch's pretty face hides several lifetimes of dark secrets, however, secrets that begin resurfacing. So this is a fantasy series where Oscar's family has been cursed, so it's not just him, but I think he's the first one to actually be impacted by this curse, because when the other male members of the family received the curse, I think he was already born. I hope I'm remembering that correctly. So essentially the curse is that the line is going to die out. No woman will be able to bear his child, and then therefore the line all gone. No people will be descended of this line. And again, this wasn't anything that Oscar did. I'm trying to remember if it was his dad or grandfather. I felt like it was his grandfather, but I'm like, he must have been older because Oscar would have already been born. Anyway, doesn't matter. One of them messed things up. And so now Oscar's an adult and he has these repercussions where he can't get married and have kids because he knows it's going to not work out with being able to have kids. So he has heard that if he goes through the witch's maze, he can get a wish granted. And I'm trying to remember, I think there's 4? Am I correct? 4 witches? And they all have different things. And so it was one of the witches that cursed his family's line. But our Tinashe is a different witch. She has her own rights and abilities. So Oscar fights his way through the maze. He reaches Tinashe and she's like, you can, ask for anything. And instead of wishing for something else, I think it also has to be within reason. He wishes that she would be his wife. And she's like, nah, I can't do that, but I can find you a wife. I can come down out of here. Because I say maze, but it was a tower. Like, anyway, it was a whole, I call it a maze because you had to go through a system of whatever's to reach the top of the tower where she was hidden. And anyway, she comes down from the tower and goes to live with him to look for someone that can be his wife and bear his child. And Oscar is not that wrong, and Tinashe knows that, and the fact that, yes, someone with her strength, like a witch, could probably bear his child. But she wants to actually find a solution and not be forced to be his bride. I think she had... Alright, I'm going to say relationship, but I don't mean that kind of relationship. She had a closeness with his grandfather, I want to say. Might have been like great-grandfather. Anyway, she was involved in his line before he was a thing. And it does make their relationship a little bit weird for her. But it's also kind of spicy. That was the whole thing. Because she, I think, fell felt kind of betrayed by him when he got married. Anyway, it's a whole thing. It does come into play with this. There's a lot that was packed into this one volume. It does deal a lot with one trying to find which witch cursed him. Can he get in touch with that witch to find out more about the curse? Should he do that? Or will it be more dangerous? I think we meet another one of the witches as well. And just what will happen if he doesn't get involved with the witch that cursed him. Is there another path that he can choose? Is there somebody that would be able to safely bear his child? I think at one point Tinashe is like, was willing to try one of the other witches that she knows and likes. I think that's where that comes into play. Yeah. In the background, there's also like other subplots with people trying to like attack the kingdom and stuff that's happening there. And there's a lot. There's just a lot that happens in here, and it's really good. But I also just really, really love Oscar and Tinashe and their relationships because you can see them getting closer. I think it's also like she doesn't really age. So I think when this starts, she still looks very young. But then I think when she uses a certain amount of power, am I correct on this? She ages a little bit, so she looks a little bit older by the end of the book. I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. It's interesting. I don't. There was so much, so much. They train together at different points because she is trying to make sure that Oscar is also strong enough because she knows how dangerous the other witches can be, especially like the one that cursed them. So there's all these different levels. There's so much that's going on that you need to like pay attention to and interplay with the characters and what's happening and the plot lines. And yeah, there's just a lot. And then by the end of the volume, you do start to get to see more of Tinashe's background as well, and what's happened in her past that is actually coming into play now. And there's just a lot. There's a lot. And of course, I'm not going to talk about all that because that's huge spoilers for the volume, but it's just, this is a heavy duty journey, but it's very, very good. And when I saw that it should be complete in like the 6 volumes, I was like, well, heck yeah, I can do that. So this is probably a series that I'm going to finish relatively quickly, hopefully early within the next year. What is this coming out? I just thought of that. Like, currently I'm filming this in December, but when it comes out, it might be the new year already. And if so, that's fine. But just know that throughout the rest of 2023, I plan to finish Unnamed Memory. That would be one of my goals for 2023 because I really enjoyed this series and I want to see how it plays out. And I don't know if I'll do a video after every volume or if I'll just decide to just do like a whole series review after I'm done with it. But either way, I definitely think at this time this is a great one to pick up, especially if you love fantasy series, because there's huge magic system, a lot at play. I like the background lore of it with the witches and how they oversee certain things and the powers that they have, and also how hard that is then to be up against each other. But also, I don't want to get into it because that's spoilers. There's other things at play that deal with that role of them. So yeah, I don't know. I would just definitely say that if you are into fantasy, pick up Unnamed Memory. It's a great light novel series to go with. And also, if you like fantasy with a touch of romance, this is a great one, which I do. So it's not like heavy on the romance, but it's there. They have this great relationship that's developing. I also think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember if it's her power that does this, why it's named Unnamed Memory, is because I think she... Is it that she can wipe the memories or that she lost some of it? I don't remember, but I think it has to do with like the power. and they can just get it all wiped clean. I'm pretty sure it's her though, right? She can erase the memories, because I think, oh, that's, forget I said anything. But that's like part of it. There's memory erasure that can and does happen in here. And how much can that impact and affect the storyline and what's happening. And I say storyline, but I mean, and it's beyond that. Like for the characters, it's their life, but for us, we'll just call it the storyline. So how much it can impact that. And it's very good. Highly recommend it. I think it's very well written and well translated, because if it's well enough written, but then the translators had to also make it be good for an English audience, and it's very well done. So would highly recommend Unnamed Memory. I'm enjoying it. Hope to finish it in 2023. That is it for this video. Until next time. Bye.